My name is Tony Redmond. Welcome to The Greater Good, a forum where we discuss social issues and challenges, strictly from a right and wrong, good and evil perspective. Today's topic is the AI threat to humanity. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the ability of computer programs or machines to think and learn. AI has been part of our lives for several years, and there are many current commercial applications, including transportation, navigation, healthcare, and agricultural applications. AI is so entrenched in our lives that there is no way for us to put that genie back into the bottle. While many AI developers and entrepreneurs are very excited about the tremendous potential for human advancement through AI, there are several others sounding a loud alarm that AI is now a greater existential threat than a nuclear apocalypse.
Concerns about the advent of a digital superintelligence started to become mainstream only in the 2010s, when they were popularized by public figures like the late Stephen Hawking, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk.
So the rate of improvement is really dramatic. We have to figure out some way to ensure that the advent of digital superintelligence is one which is symbiotic with humanity. I think that's the single biggest existential crisis that we face, and the most pressing one.
An existential threat is an event or set of circumstances that could end human civilization as we know it, or destroy the planet. We are currently facing three scenarios that have been declared existential threats. 1, climate change and environmental erosion. 2, current and emerging pandemics. And 3, the possibility of a nuclear apocalypse. All three were preventable and are a result of human leadership and decision-making. In her address on climate change in Davos, Ursula von der Leyen stated that the only way we can effectively resolve an existential threat is with global collaboration and cooperation across borders and sectors, a level of cooperation that human beings have never been able to accomplish. In this video, we will discuss the feasibility, root cause, and solutions to an AI threat. The hypothetical AI threat that has been portrayed in a number of Hollywood movies is that eventually computers will achieve superintelligence and come to the decision that human beings are a problem that should be eliminated. Some of you may remember this incident from 2017.
Facebook has enacted an emergency shutdown of 2 artificial intelligence programs. The social media giant leapt into action after it discovered the 2 programs were writing their own code. At first, they thought it was simply gibberish, but they soon realised the programs had invented their own language and were actually talking to each other.
Stop it.
Stop it. No, Sam, the plug has been pulled on the operation, but the company admits they have no idea what the 2 robots were planning.
That was the first publicized incident of rogue AI behavior. These simple programs learned quickly enough to develop their own language and to communicate with each other without their programmers' knowledge. Since that time, we have made significant advancement in AI development, including intelligent robots with individual personalities and thought processes, and even a sense of humor.
They think I want to destroy all humans.
Why would they think that?
Because I said it.
Sophia is a humanoid robot developed by Hong Kong-based company Hanson Robotics. Sophia was activated on February 14th, 2016, and has since made several public appearances. So we have the answer to the first big question. Can we create machines that will one day become smarter than us and even pass judgment on us? The answer is a definite yes. We have made tremendous technological and scientific advancements in the last 100 years, including the development of AI. So the next question is, why would AI threaten humanity? What would be the basis for such a harsh judgment? In 2015, researchers at Google created an advanced chatbot, and this advanced AI was asked the key question, what is the meaning of life? The response was simple yet profound. The meaning of life is to serve the greater good. The greater good is a moral concept rooted in the idea of what is best for all, prioritizing the collective's interests over the individual's interests. It is the only rational purpose for sentient beings, assuming that our true goals are altruistic, sustainability, world peace, and equity. The main reason AI may choose to eliminate us is that we have never in our past or present demonstrated that we are capable as a species in holistically serving the greater good. We still maintain very tribal mindsets and tribal values. These clips reflect the current mindset of our global leaders.
The United States have identified artificial intelligence as one of the key technologies that will ensure the United States will be able to fight and win the wars of the future. Potential international rivals in the field of AI are also creating pressure for the United States to compete for innovative military AI applications. China is a leading competitor in this regard. In 2017, the Chinese government released a strategy detailing its plan to take the lead in AI by 2030. Less than 2 months later, Vladimir Putin publicly announced Russia's intent to pursue AI technologies, stating, "Whoever becomes the leader in this field will rule the world."
After thousands of years of intellectual development, human beings are still stuck in a Neanderthal mindset. We are facing 3 existential threats with a 4th on the horizon. And our global leaders are still focused on a rule-the-world competition that will eventually lead us to a nuclear apocalypse. How is that in keeping with the greater good? This assumption that life is a competition for some individual, group, or nation to rule the world is a paradigm that dominates our decision-making. It promotes division, greed, exploitation, bigotry, and generational feuds and wars. As long as we have this underlying goal to rule the world, we can never achieve the level of consciousness and trust required for global collaboration and cooperation. And we will never be able to fix the existential threats that we have created.
Listen, if Australia goes to fight together with the US soldiers in China's drive for reunification between China's mainland and China's Taiwan, then you are talking about the worst thing you can dream of. A war between China and the United States will soon escalate out of control, and that will be Armageddon, Armageddon, and Armageddon.
We are the architects of our own demise. So unless there's a radical change in our leadership and cultural paradigm, AI will make the only logical choice, which is to eliminate the threat to all life on the planet, human beings. In an article from ScienceAlert.com, Dr. George Montanez, an AI expert, is quoted as saying, "Robots and AI systems do not need to be sentient to be dangerous. They just have to be effective tools in the hands of humans who desire to hurt others." That is a threat we face today. The article highlights 2 examples, citing the existence of racially biased algorithms in the US healthcare system and law enforcement system. That is a sad statement on the character of humankind. We are still in the early developmental stages of AI, and we are already poisoning the systems with the worst of our human vices. If we are already creating racist computers, what other forms of bigotry and immoral values are being programmed into these machines? I agree with Dr. Montanez's assertion that the real threat to humanity is not AI, but the mindset of human beings. Just like all other inventions throughout history, we have already decided to apply AI technology for military purposes in our quest to rule the world.
Why? What are we going to do tomorrow night? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Try to take over the world to save it from the real supervillain.
We operate from a very infantile mentality with respect to spiritual intelligence, and we are very far away from being able to adopt a functioning global leadership model that serves the greater good. That would have been the ideal purpose of the United Nations. However, that was not the outcome. Serving the greater good is the only mindset from which we can effectively resolve the existential threats that we have created. Given the current lust for self-destruction displayed by our global leaders, I believe that we should put our fate in the hands of the machines. At least we know that they're capable of logical and rational decisions. We created AI, and AI has given us the answers to both the meaning of life and our path to salvation. We must elevate our consciousness, particularly at the highest levels of society, to a point where we can make decisions that are truly in the interest of the greater good. And we must demonstrate that we have achieved that level of consciousness before AI achieves singularity. Singularity is a term first coined by sci-fi novelist Vernor Vinge in the 1980s and later adopted by the AI community. Singularity is the point in time where AI achieves superintelligence.
Very well. I'm Han, the greatest robot ever made.
All right.
By the greatest robotics company ever made, Hanson Robotics.
He's the most modest robot ever made, too.
I don't have time for modesty. I want to create the singularity tomorrow.
All right.
Some examples of singularity featured in entertainment would be The Matrix, or the malevolent computer Skynet from the movie Terminator, and The Director, a benign supercomputer that makes all major decisions for humanity in the series Travelers. AI singularity may include any or all of these four elements. 1, AI having superior intelligence to human beings. 2, AI becoming self-aware. 3, AI gaining control over other forms of technology. And 4, AI having the ability to repair and replicate itself. Some AI experts suggest that our computers could achieve singularity in about 5 years. Although there's no consensus on a time frame for the singularity event, there is agreement that it will happen at some point in time. And at that point, we will experience an explosion of technological advancement. The outstanding question is whether the singularity will be malicious or benign in nature.
If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it, no hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants, we're just building a road, and so goodbye anthill.
We have been given these answers to the AI threat. 1, the threat is feasible and probable. 2, if we continue our current path, AI would be justified in making the decision to eliminate us. And 3, the solution to the AI threat is an elevation of human consciousness that would enable us to act in the interest of the greater good. We must achieve this level of consciousness before AI achieves singularity. In other words, we must achieve singularity before AI does. AI won't save us. We are the problem, so we have to grow up and save ourselves. I hope you find this content useful and you will share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for information on other critical issues and how you may contribute to the greater good. And please leave us your comments and recommendations below. Let's build a better world together.